G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome to my new series for Borderlands 3, Legendary Science. Good info on drop rates, loot tables, and boss farming is pretty scarce at the moment, so me and my partner Amy are setting out to change that using the power of experimentation, observation, and of course, spreadsheets. The goal of these loot farming experiments is to find out what legendaries drop where, what things are rare or common, and which are the best spots to farm sweet gear in Borderlands 3. Now, I'm not satisfied with just hearsay on which methods are the best for farming. I want you guys to know scientifically what is best with hard evidence to back it up. We'll be killing statistically significant numbers of bosses and recording the data in spreadsheets and then analyzing the results in these videos. And in this first video, we'll start with killing and looting Mouthpiece, the first major boss, 100 times. Our methodology here is simple. 2 players with instance loot killed Mouthpiece 50 times and recorded the drops, cash, and iridium gained. Since the loot is fully instance, 50 kills equals 100 kills worth of data. Hooray for efficiency. The farming was done on Mayhem 3 on the normal game mode. We may test and compare the drops on True Vault Hunter mode Mayhem 3 in the future, but for now we're doing it on normal Mayhem 3. All of this was done post loot drop nerfs, and neither of us has any luck bonuses on gear or in Guardian points, so that we could set a solid baseline. So my hypothesis going into this was that Mouthpiece was not going to be a great farming choice, but I wanted to get the data for everything I can to know for sure. Mouthpiece has 3 immunity phases which slows down the fight a lot, and he has an arena that can kill you even if you're crazy tanky. About 10% of the time, one of the ads also spawns as an anointed badass, which can be pretty tricky and make the fight a lot harder. We started out this science experiment pretty undergeared, as we had only just recently hit level 50, and the fights often took about a minute 30 or longer. However, as the farming went on and we got the fight down and upgraded our gear from the drops we got more efficient, getting the kill down to under a minute depending on the Mayhem mods. And now, onto the results. In 100 kills, we got 39 legendaries in total, with 4 of those being anointed legendaries. We made about 19.2 million credits and 1,246 iridium. Looking at the footage, Mouthpiece gives roughly 19,000 experience per kill, though the numbers seem to change a little, possibly due to ads dying at the same time. All up, this means that per run, killing Mouthpiece will, on average, net you 0.39 legendaries, 0.04 anointed legendaries, 192,574 credits, and 12.46 iridium. It's worth noting that the number of anointed legendaries are what I'd call statistically insignificant. That is, they are very rare, and I expect I'm going to need a ton more datasets to really see any sort of trends with anointed legendaries. You're just not going to see very many. So, what did he drop in our experiment? In 100 runs, we dropped 20 Mind Killer shotguns, and then a complete mix of one-offs, with the only outlier being 2 bloodletters, which is likely just lucky. From this, we can, without a doubt, say that Mind Killer is Mouthpiece's loot table drop. That is his signature legendary. The drop rate is also fairly statistically likely to be around 20%. Mouthpiece also does drop the Killing Word unique blue pistol 100% of the time, so I didn't bother recording that. It's pretty safe to say that all of the one-offs, including the Bloodletter, are world drop legendaries. That is, they can drop anywhere. For a bit of fun, I'll also make a note of our best drops we got and some of the fun info from these runs. Pretty early on, I got a Bloodletter class mod for Moze, which is a best in slot for some builds, and I also happened to get it with excellent damage rolls. Additionally, this Hex grenade that I got is super strong and will be a mainstay of my build for a while. It splits into 3 grenades when thrown, which is insane for procs on Moze, allowing infinite ammo and grenades. Cryo was a bit of a bummer to get on this, as it's a bit ineffective on anointed enemies, but it's still pretty great overall. I also got an anointed Hellwalker shotgun, which is a Doom reference gun. It's just super cool, and it plays metal when you use it. Amy, my farming partner, got a Lyuda, one of the best sniper rifles that spits out some solid DPS. And she also dropped a Maggie, which is a classic pistol, and a Face Puncher, a supposedly best in slot weapon for Amara. Now, of the 20 Mind Killer shotguns that I dropped, the highest damage one that I found was 517 by 9, and I also had one drop as anointed. It seems inevitable that you might eventually get an anointed one, considering the Mind Killer itself just drops so often. A fun note was that the stats on set legendaries like Mindkiller seem to be based on the randomly rolled parts and accessories. Sometimes I would find a high capacity magazine version, for example, that had less damage, while other times lower capacity mags with high damage mods on them. I knew parts and accessories had this effect on guns, but it was pretty interesting to see it demonstrated. So all up, what are my thoughts on farming Mouthpiece? Well, we don't have any other datasets yet to compare to. However, it seems likely that this will be one of the worst farms we test, at least amongst the major bosses. The drop rate was lower than I expected at 0.39 legendaries per kill. I was thinking maybe 0.6 to 0.8. And the phased boss fights with anointed enemies cropping up sometimes in an arena that can kill you make it harder than other bosses later in the game. Mouthpiece does drop a set legendary Mind Killer, but it's at best a passable shotgun in the early game that you'll pretty quickly replace. It seems likely that Mouthpiece will not be a top choice on most people's farm list, but now we have the scientific evidence to back that up, and it's a solid baseline for us to compare all future boss kill datasets to. Hooray for science. So if you like the legendary science and want to see more, let us know in the comments below what you'd like to see us farm. We'll be starting in the earlier stages of the game to avoid spoilers for people still progressing, but moving on up the list as we go. And if you've done some science yourself, feel free to share your data for comparison. And by the way, someone did already test Shiv. He drops 100 white shotguns. Yay science. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.